Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever this finds you in the world. I hope you are doing well. We were looking at this potential ascending triangle here forming on Caspa. I tweeted about it on, looks like September 18th, and this was before the all-time high that was set just after I tweeted this out. To be honest, I didn't think that it would break out so soon. I kind of figured it would do something like this and then come up and break out. So we can look at the chart and what's happened since. So since then, we actually broke out and set a new high, and it didn't stick. So it's come back down now, and it's testing this support line that's been going on for quite a while, since I would say November of 2022. This isn't the full history. We can grab the full history on the crypto chart. So if you haven't noticed yet, TradingView updated their Caspa history and they added the full history, the full data. You can find it by typing in CAS USD, and what comes up is the spot crypto chart right here. This is what I have up. It's got the full history. I highly recommend using this. So this trend line that I drew here, you can see that it since November 22 has been an area of either resistance, right, or support, if you look here. And currently we are holding it as support, as I suspected. So it's forming this triangle, and it's possible that price continues to hold it and ultimately breaks out. We have a lot of confluence here as far as this ascending channel coming up right in this region. And notice that the bull market support band here is at 3.1 and 3.3 cents. So if price did come down, this would be an amazing spot to buy. I don't know if it's going to get there, but if it does, that would be an amazing opportunity. Pretty much any time that prices come down there has been a great opportunity. If it goes below it, that's even better. And the reason why this area was really interesting to me, I tweeted on Twitter that I thought the bottom was in, was because when you draw a Fibonacci retracement on the swing high, the swing low, you have a perfect, absolutely perfect response to all these levels. And when that happens, the likelihood increases that you're going to obey that price action. So you can see that it's also bouncing off the bull market support band here. So there's always something that's going on in the charts. If you see a resistance or support level, there's usually something going on. And I think anyone who's not using this particular indicator, the bull market support band, which is the 20 and 21 week SMA and EMA, is not getting the full picture. They're at a disadvantage because you can see the price clearly obeys it. And then you have this ascending channel, you have this beautiful cup and handle, which played out, it's broken above it. And now we have this trend line. The trend lines are made to be broken. It is what it is, but people do trade them. So you can obviously see that people are buying it here, right? You can see the price is wicking off of it here. It gets a little bit of a bounce here and falls below, back up. Now it's just cruising right on it, right? So there is a chance that it obeys it and it holds it, and we continue out higher, especially since this long time ascending channel is right in the same area here. So let's take a look at what the stock market is doing right now. And I know a lot of people drop off when I go into that, but I would encourage people to listen to this because it's really important what the stock market does for crypto. There's clear correlations between equities, U.S. equities, and you may be in another country and think to yourself, why do I care about this if you're not in the U.S.? But there is clear correlation between Bitcoin and what equities are doing. So it's important to pay attention to it. For example, right here in 2020, Bitcoin didn't really start breaking out until the stock market was basically hitting new highs, right? So we can kind of take a look at this. We'll go back the past 5 years, here and here. Right. So in 2020, the stock market essentially started hitting new highs. And it wasn't until, if we draw a line, it's easier to see. It wasn't until the third attempt, I believe, right here, that so this is a little off, just the box moved, but you can get the idea here. It wasn't until the third test of the all-time high on the S&P 500 that Bitcoin really started breaking out. So what do we have here? We still have a downturn. So for me, it's just a good time to accumulate. And if we pull up I've gone into this before on this channel, on my channel here. In 2020 and 2019, Bitcoin was ranging around the 20 and 21 week SMA, this green and red line here. And if you block the COVID dip out, it wouldn't have been long before it broke out and started making new highs. And that's essentially what we're doing right now. September's almost over. People have been looking for a massive, massive dip. Okay, people have been looking for something like the COVID drop. But if you block the COVID drop out of your memory, we don't really necessarily need to do something like that again. We are essentially just ranging in here, right? And unless we do go into a full-on 2008 or dot-com bubble downturn in the stock market, Bitcoin could very well be bottomed right now. So it's just a bet on what you think is going to happen. Right now, it's at a great level, in my opinion. And what the stock market is doing right here is not something that it hasn't done before. Drawing the fib levels from the swing high to the swing low. You have the 786, and it could potentially even come down to the 0.5. We're at the 0.618 right now. You can come down to, just as an example, this was a much steeper correction here. The dot-com bubble, and it lasted a long time. So I think a lot of people are afraid that we're going to have something like this again. But even still, just to show what happened when the stock market did eventually work itself out of this correction. It came up, it went to the 786, came down to the 0.5, and then it worked its way out. So what we have here is a big correction. It wasn't as big, but it was still decent. And it could come down from the 786 down to the 0.5, right? So you had the 786, could go down to 0.5 and then work yourself out, right? So 786 more or less down to the 0.5 and then come on out. So these are just comparisons to previous corrections. And these are different also because you'll notice all these moving averages. We haven't even gone through them here in the current correction. We're still above it all. So as of now, it's still bullish in terms of being above some important moving averages that have held as support over time. So things aren't looking, they're not looking bad yet. I mean, if you're bearish, then you might think that we're going to fall through them like we did here and come way down, right? So you can see on the .com bubble, we crashed right through all these. What's interesting to note here is that in the .com bubble, which is not super similar, I think this is the purple is the 200. Here, I'll pull these up so we can look. The purple you can see is the 200 week. Blue is the 280 week. Yellow is the 350. We crashed through the 200, came down to the 280, fell below the 350. I was using these moving averages, I believe, on the Bitcoin chart. That's why they're here, but you can still get an idea. We broke through them all. We came down. This time we bounced off the 200 week more or less, and we've come up a lot more than what happened here. We just fell through, it became resistance, and we kept crashing. So it's not looking like the .com bubble to me. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, things could still stay bullish. We could just come down to the 0.5 and then blast up. I would get worried if we started falling through here and then equilibrium is off, and the more likely scenario is that we kind of come down, and then we got to start looking at a potential double bottom, or if we're going to really crash. And that's, it's going to be prepared for anything. So it's not looking like that yet, but anything can happen, right? So it's important to just consider that anything is possible. So if this does more or less work itself out to look like something over here where it holds and it continues up, then, stock market, Bitcoin and crypto will potentially head higher. It's just what happens typically. Bitcoin is still above this level, which is an important level. It's still looking bullish to me. Really, if it broke below here and started getting down here, then potentially there would be more momentum to the downside. But right now we're clear above this line, right? Clearly above that. We dipped down, and as of now we're still above. And Caspa is, like I said, working itself out on this trend line, and there's a lot of other reasons to be bullish here too. So I think because it's an undervalued asset, just simply because of that, at $1 billion, it's still undervalued. It could very well, based on the fundamentals and the technology behind it, which I don't really go into on this channel too much. Maybe at some point I'll do more fundamentals, but people will start bidding it on any level that's remotely reasonable to get a bid. And right here, it's very clearly like, look at it. It's not crashing as hard as it has on any other previous big downturn. It's really building a base right here, which to me is very bullish. This has the potential to just launch from here. It just has the potential to launch. And if you look at by the end of the year where these, so this is the end of the year here, January 1st, this ascending channel, if it stays in it, it will be somewhere between 11 and potentially close to 60 cents here by the end of the year. And this base that it's building here, if it does break out, the midline right after that is at 10 cents. So the longer it takes to get up to this midline, the higher it is. So even if it's at the midline by the end of the year, that's 26 cents. So everything looks super awesome. I'm hoping that this area holds, and just clearly a fundamentally undervalued asset in a bear market. And so it's, in my opinion, going to suck liquidity from many, many, many inferior projects, which are just outdated, and a lot of holders are underwater, and they're going to be looking to exit or break even or take profit as soon as they can. So a lot of reasons to be bullish, and I'll leave it at that for now. I don't have much more to say. Just a quick update. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to subscribe and like the video. And I will catch you on the next one. Take care.